Hi guys, today I'm building this 1500 balanced build PC build that I think could play almost all games out there and is what I would consider to be right now one of the best bang for the buck. Now I'm going to be building in this case. This is the Lee A3 DAM. It's the first time I have built in a smaller case like this. Let's open it up. It should be somewhat without, there should be these two at the top here, finger screws. And that should be the only screws needed because as far as I know, this is just to take off. And this is to take off. I don't know if we should know which one is the front and back. And then we can take this like this, take the top off. I think it should be somewhat easy to build in when you have everything off like this. So for the first part here, I have the B805 I wanted a micro ATX because of course it needed to fit into this case, and I wanted something that had all the I/O that I needed. That's the main reason why I picked this card. I picked the cheapest card that I could get, which had all of the I/O that I wanted. Motherboard for the AM5 is still quite expensive compared to what you get. Now this, I really think is a good value here. I bought the AMD Ryzen 9000 series, but it's a Ryzen 5 9600X. I particularly picked this one because I wanted something with a somewhat low power draw, and that's I really want something that doesn't heat up this much because the build is for my son, and his current PC is really like an oven. As a bonus, I really think that AM5 has the easiest to install CPUs on the market. This little guy, I don't know if you can see that, but oops. At the top corner here, there is this little triangle, and that little triangle represents this little triangle here, which is just, then you should put it down so it fits triangle to triangle. And there's no pins that should match in this way, but it should still be quite careful. Then you put this down, and then you can make this on top of this, and then this can go off. And now I have put in the CPU. The next thing you can put in is either the disk or the RAM. I'd like to start off with the RAM here. So one thing that has happened, as far as I know, is that the RAM prices has risen since I bought these parts. So I bought this for cheaper than they are right now. I bought a kit, 32 gigabyte kits, and yes, I think this should be plenty for most gaming PCs in the world. So now this board, as many other boards, support 2 times 2, so that's 4. And we should actually look up to where the RAM are going. Normally it would be the 2nd and the 4th, but sometimes it's the 1st and the yeah, but it actually says so here on this board. That's nice. So the 1st is the 2nd and the 4th as I guessed. So I'm not going to look at the folder because this is actually directly printed to the board. Now I never like installing RAM because you have to be so violent. Click these up. Oh, this is so, I hate to take something that's so expensive and push it so hard. Now we have the RAM in. Some of these has an NVMe on the back. This one does not, because I actually would have installed it on the back if it had a hefty mounting plate on this one. So now I have to take away this cooling plate here for the NVMe. There's actually 2 slots in this card. There's one here and one here, but I'm going to be using this one because that's the one with the cooler on top. And I have to just plug it in here. And I think this one would lock. Always check underneath these. Sometimes there is this that needs to be peeled. This is for cooling the disc. And today the cooling of these discs are actually somewhat important, especially when they are placed just underneath the graphics card. Now we have the CPU installed, we have the RAM installed, and we have the NVMe. We could put in another NVMe here, but we don't have this. So this box is a Peerless Assassin Mini, but I have an Peerless Assassin 120 SE lying around from another build, so I'm going to be, not lying around, but I have another that I'm going to swap to this build because my other build is going to become a server build. So in these packages, there should be a mounting mechanism for each of the most popular ones. So the AM4 and the AM5 is the same one. See, these are stand-ups for the AM4 and AM5. We need those. You're going to take these, put in here. I don't know if you can actually see what I'm doing. But you're going to take the stand-ups here and put them onto this. So I put them down here because I know my cooling tower. I'm just going to show it. I know that my cooling tower is going to turn this way in my build. And you can actually also use these instead if you wanted to have the cooling tower to turn like the other way in the build. Oh guys, I'm such a noob. I mounted these upside down. So I'm just going to show you, whoops, my mistake, so you don't do it too. This guy here has this little pointy thing, and that needs to go up like this. So I put in a used Peerless Assassin, but I just wanted to show you that you need to peel this away underneath the cooler before applying it. Otherwise, you will be in a big trouble. You can put on these fans now, which I might regret doing later, but I'm just going to do it because I know it's sometimes hard to do it inside the case. These right here needs to be clipped onto this. So it's just like, it's just metal holding it. It's somewhat crooked down here. So I like mine to slightly not touch the RAM. And now we can plug this into the power. There should be a power out here somewhere saying CPU. CPU fan is the one in the top here. Now we can move this aside and we can take the case. This case has like this mounting bracket here for the power supply to be in the front, which I really like. And then we have all of these cables down here for the I/O that's down in the bottom here. And I really also like the fact that they put this into a jar of goodies like this. I do think that I need to... For the power supply, I chose this from Be Quiet Pure Power, and it's an 80 plus gold. Now I think gold is the lowest rating I would go for, honestly, in a proper build. In my own builds, I have a 80 plus titanium dark power from Be Quiet, and I really think that Be Quiet is also just a great brand for power supplies. I think dark power, the one that I have in my personal build, is one of the highest ends power supplies you can get. The hard part about getting a modular power supply is that you have to know where to put all the cables, which it provides you with better cable management, but also makes the build is a bit harder because you have to know which of all of these to plug in. It actually does say so on so this one, it says something that this one is the motherboard, and this is for drives, and this is for the PCIe 5.1, but it's the 601 one. This is for newer graphics cards, and we also have the small one for the motherboard. So I don't know if there is a right or wrong way to this, but I like to plug them into this before I put them into the power supply in. This is the other way. Oh, so it's like that. So it's a small one in here for the motherboard and this one in here for the motherboard. And now we have the motherboard cable. This one and only this one 600 watt cable is for the graphics card. And the reason why I really want to use something like Be Quiet is that I want to make sure that I have great quality cables also, because there has been some problems with cables burning, etc. in these two cables right here. They even tells us that they are for the CPU, and I actually think that only one of them is needed and the other one is for overclocking. But we're going to be putting in both of them. 2 PCIe is for other types of graphic cards, and these are for drives that we don't use in this build. We also use the NVMe. Now, this is going to be the funny part. Normally a power supply would be like down here, but in this case, it's going to be at the front. And I don't know if I should have put the cable in afterwards, but let's have a look. It worked. So the great thing about this is that the power supply actually pulls in air from the front and is not obstructing anything in our build. Sometimes it can be a bit hard to know what the screws are for in these, but this box here tells us motherboard offsets and PSU. Oh, so if I just take off the front part here, it's actually quite easy to adjust the power supply. Actually don't need that many screws to mount it, but I like to be somewhat safe. This part is so it can actually hold it without the screws. The screws is just to tighten it up. So now just to show you, this is now the front of the case, which normally has some fans to put air inside the case. But this will now only cool down. The air from this will only cool down the power supply. Let me show you here. This is how it looks. Down into these. And on here. And then we have it covered up and it's super nice. But we're going to be putting in the motherboard now. This case should have all the standoffs needed. Watch out that you don't destroy anything on the back of the motherboard while doing this. Installing in this case has actually been a breeze right now compared to many other cases. So this is like kind of surgery to hit all of these, in my opinion. This is something that I really don't like doing. When building a case, putting in the motherboard, in my opinion, is one of the worst parts of building the case. It's actually not that hard for this case here. Normally, sometimes my hands cannot fit at all. And I feel like I have so much more room. And I think that it's because that you have no space for the power supply down here. So the hardest part, in my opinion here, is to get the on and off buttons. We are at the finish line now. We need to plug in the big motherboard cable here. This one should be fairly easy. Just need to turn it the right way. And then up here with that one. So the hard part, So the hardest part, in my opinion here, is to get the on and off buttons to work. If this is a great case, then that's the front panel. Oh, this is so... Okay, you don't know how nice this is. But this is just one plug for the entire front panel on and off button. Now normally you have to match each pin to the on and off buttons down here. But this just do it for you, and you can just plug this in. Wow, this normally takes so long to do. This is the USB, and it's most likely have a header up here on the front. I don't know why that was so tough to get in. Didn't like that. Then we have the front audio, and I think this is the USB-C, right? Why is this so tough to get these USB plugs in there? The HD audio, and this cable. Sometimes I hate this one because it's normally what gets in the bottom fans. Now let's see if that's going to be a problem here. We have the CPU power up here. So now we actually have all the cables installed. We just need the graphics card. The graphics card is not the 5070, it's the 4070 Ti. But this is because I already had the graphics card, and they should be somewhat equal in performance. These cables down here are super annoying. Really need to not destroy anything while doing this. Yes! Now the graphics card in. I don't need the GPU bracket for this because this is not one of the bigger graphics card. But as you can see, this tiny case can easily house a full-size graphics card. Now I know my 5080 would be around up to here, to this length. And as you can see, if you wanted to, you could easily fit an AIO in the top as well. Now, this case is not the prettiest when it comes to cable management, but that's just because you have used all the rooms for just practical stuff. Put it in here into my testing setup, and it's kind of janky, I know. Like a floor setup here. But as you can see, it just turns on in the first time. Now the SSD, the NVMe I put in already had a Windows installed, so I just knew that everything here would be ready. And I think that I'm going to do some light work on the BIOS, and then I'm going to set it up at my son's gaming setup. Yeah. And everything is ready here for my son to play games. And of course there's no internet right now, but I'm going to set it up at my son's. Now we don't play Cyberpunk at home, and my son plays a lot of Fortnite, so I'm just going to open up Fortnite to see how it will perform in there, because that's what's important to him. If I set the FPS right now to unlimited and just going to test it, he gets in, I don't know if you can see this, in creative mode like almost 1000 FPS, and that's really be good enough. Now let's go into Battle Royale instead and see, because that's more demanding. Also because Battle Royale is actually loading in assets as you play. That's why sometimes it will lag even though you have a really good PC. Now this is hard to see, but averaging about 200 FPS and 240 lows, 180, that's really good in the Battle Royale game, because there is always something that you need to load in. So overall, I'm really happy with the build, and you can ask me in the comments if there's something I should test or I need to test on this build. Now I don't have all games, I don't have Cyberpunk, and I know that a lot use Cyberpunk as a benchmark game. We don't have that. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you maybe learned how to build your PC, or if you have some questions, leave them in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Bye. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.